NBA injury, Roundup. Harden sits, Sengun out, and more shake fantasy and rotation plans, January 5th. As the NBA kicked off an 8-game slate on Monday night, January 5th, several notable players were either ruled out or banged up, forcing coaches and fantasy managers alike to adjust their rotations at the last minute. Here's a closer look at the 5 biggest injury situations that shaped Monday's action and could influence the rest of the week. 1. James Harden, out, shoulder stiffness. The biggest headline of the night came from the Los Angeles Clippers, where star guard James Harden was unable to suit up in the team's matchup against the Golden State Warriors. Harden entered the day listed as questionable due to shoulder stiffness, but was ultimately ruled out, marking just the 3rd game he has missed all season. The Clippers, despite missing their primary playmaker, survived a tight 103-102 contest behind a dominating performance from Kawhi Leonard, 24 points, 12 rebounds. Harden's absence is particularly notable for fantasy players, as his minutes and scoring production are typically a weekly foundation piece. Coaches and managers will now monitor his shoulder closely heading into the rest of the week. 2. Kobe White, questionable but plays. The Chicago Bulls guard was listed as questionable coming into Monday due to an injury, but White was ultimately upgraded to probable and did play against the Boston Celtics. While he logged minutes off the bench, White was limited in production, finishing with only 5 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in the loss. Fantasy managers should be cautious with his usage until he returns to full form. 3. Trae Young, sidelined, Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young did not suit up for the Hawks game against the Toronto Raptors on Monday. Young's absence came amid ongoing trade discussions and off-court uncertainty, marking his 27th missed game of the season to date. Whether his situation affects future availability remains a topic of speculation for both real-life and fantasy implications. 4. Alperen Sengun, Rockets out with ankle injury. For the Houston Rockets, center Alperen Sengun exited Saturday's matchup against the Dallas Mavericks after sustaining a right ankle injury and did not play in Monday's contest against the Phoenix Suns. Sengun's absence was felt in the Rockets' frontcourt rotation, and the team had to lean more heavily on others, including Kevin Durant, who finished with 26 points in the win. His status in the coming days will be worth monitoring, especially for teams relying on his consistent double-double upside. 5. Jamal Murray, resting through back-to-back. Denver Nuggets guard Jamal Murray also sat out his team's Monday matchup, not due to a new injury, but as part of rest management on the second night of a back-to-back. Murray's absence didn't seem to slow the Nuggets, who secured a 125-124 win against the Philadelphia 76ers, paced by Jalen Pickett's 29 points. Still, his status remains a factor for managers planning lineups later in the week. What this means for fantasy managers and coaches. Monday's injury slate underscored how quickly lineups can shift, especially in a season as packed and competitive as this one. With stars like Harden and Sengun off the floor and key rotation pieces like Young and Murray unavailable, depth and flexibility are vital for both real NBA teams and fantasy rosters. Managers should monitor game-to-game designations for these players as the week progresses and adjust accordingly.